Okay, fine, Fatima. Okay, thanks. Right, so last class, we basically kickstarted our economics, right? So our economics means simply the subject of economics. And also, I gave you a bit of idea on the syllabus that we are going to study. And also, I said there will be 12 lessons. So out of 12, 6 lessons are going to come under grade 12, right? And the balance 6 will be come under grade 13, right? And also, I basically gave you an idea. Give me a second. Right. I basically gave you an idea regarding the pattern of question. Simply, you will get 50 MCQs, right? And simply 50 marks for essay, which means one essay got 10 marks. So you may have to write 5 essay questions, right? So you don't need to worry. I'll be guiding throughout the syllabus and also the exam structure, and also I'll be discussing some model paper questions, blah blah blah, right? And I basically gave you an idea in which, if we take first 3 units, right? First 3 unit, in simple terms, I said that you will be able to score more than 40, around 40, or else between 40 to 45. Let me take it as 42 out of 100. Simply, I said that you might be able to get an S pass just by studying first 3 units, right? Okay. Right, let me admit the people first. Okay, right. Fine. So getting an A pass or else a B pass in economics is way easy. Why? You just need to study, right? If you take first 3 units, you might be able to get 42 marks. So you just need to get another maybe 30 something marks to get an A pass by studying the balance 9 units. The balance 9 units. So this is what I can, give you a quick summary on the last class that we did. So today I'll be, moving from the last part of the last class. So simply I'm gonna move to the subject matter today itself, right? Hope everyone is kind of clear with the syllabus matter and everything. Okay, right. Hope you can remember in last class I gave you an idea on the crude oil. Let's say this is the up, or else let's say this is the crust of the world, and let's say this particular reserve is crude oil. Let's assume like that. And also I said that the oil which is being used to produce petrol and diesel is basically crude oil, right? And also I gave you an idea on the current stock that we got in the entire world. If we take the entire world, we got 1.2 trillion gallons of what? Crude oil. Out of 1.2 trillion, we are using 80 to 90 million gallons per day. 80, 90, and 1000 million. And it would become 1 billion. 1000 billion would become 1 trillion. And we are getting closer. And also, I said that we cannot generate, or else crude oil is basically not being generated again and again. Which means if you are used up one time, it would go, which means it would go away. We cannot, regenerate again and again. So likewise, we are in 2026 over here. We got 1.2 trillion gallons. And I said by 2070, probably you would not have crude oil to produce what? Petrol and diesel. And also, I gave you an idea about needs and wants. Simply, transportation is a need, isn't it? Transportation is a need. You cannot survive without having this one. Imagine few days without having transportation, right? you would definitely get sick, right? Sick mean you would definitely get depressed and you would, stress out yourself. And also we got so much of ways to fulfill the need of transportation, right? We got so much of ways, like you can have the car, you can have the bike, right? You can have buses, you can have three-wheeler, train, etc., etc., etc. For each and every, mode of transportation, we need to have crude oil to pump the engines of those. Hope you got the idea on that one, right? So, and also I gave you an idea that our wants are basically unlimited, which means you got so much of wants to fulfill. I mean, even after 2070, you may have to have this one, like you may need to have this one, like car, bike, buses, three-wheel, and etc., 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 which means you need to travel even after 2070. What about your children, your grandchildren? Need to fulfill this particular need using, these options. But unfortunately, the oil that we got right now in the world would get end up by 2070, unfortunately, right? So simply, right, so the basic idea that you need to come up with is, so I'm basically expecting the answers from your end, right? I would appreciate if you can answer these two questions, right? So when we are comparing our wants, with the resources that we got, so you can assume the example that Azam sir taken right now, right? So you can assume the crude oil is basically helping us to fulfill the wants, right? Uh, we are basically fulfilling in 2026. We might need crude oil by 2030, 2040, 2050, even after 2070 if world exists, right? We don't know what would happen, right? Fine. Anyway, let's say even after 2070, let's say the world would exist and you might have grandchildren, so they might need to fulfill their wants, isn't it? So simply wants are not gonna end. Wants are not gonna end, right? Day by day, wants are kind of increasing. Did you get the idea? We are, even the businesses are forming up wants. If not, people's behavior is kind of, enlarging or else kind of increasing, and we cannot expect the wants to get decreased, which means wants are limited or unlimited. That's my question for you. When we are comparing the wants, which should be fulfilled using the resources, tell me, are resources limited or unlimited? That's my question for you. That is my question for you. We'll see who is going to answer. Kanza, okay, good. Which one is limited? Takmil, perfect. Which one is limited? So both of you have perfect. Perfect. So when we are comparing the wants that we need to fulfill with the resources, so resources seems to be limited. You might say, sir, we got 1.2 trillion gallons. So is that not enough? Nope. That might be, kind of unlimited for me, for a single person, or else for Sri Lanka. We can, swim in the crude oil. I'm just kidding, right? But it is comparatively, when we are comparing with the entire world, the crude oil that we got right now is not enough. Is not enough. So simply, our wants are going to be, I got answers, appreciate it. So everyone is basically answering. Okay. Perfect, Hafsa, once again. Good, 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 good. Right. So simply, wants are going to be unlimited. Wants are going to be unlimited. And then I need to ask another question from you. In order to fulfill the wants, what we need to do? In order to fulfill the wants, what we need to do? That's my question for you. Take clothing. Clothing is the need. If you take this shirt, Azam sir has chosen the shirt as way of fulfilling the need of clothing, right? Shirt. So shirt is a want. And education is a need, but the way of fulfilling the need is wants, right? So you need to cover up economics. You got so much of options. You got Azam sir, you might be having a physical sir, I'm just saying, right? I don't know. And also you got the YouTube platform, you got the chat GPT, Gemini, those kind of AI chatbots, right? So you got so much of wants. And tell me, what should we need to do in order to fulfill the wants? Take food. And if we name some wants for food, we can go like, idli, kottu roti, noodles, if not, string hoppers, etc., etc., etc. So I'm asking, what should we need to do in order to fulfill the wants? That's my question for you. Let's see who is going to answer. In order to fulfill the wants, you need to do something. Simply, businesses are doing that one. So my question is that, like, what should we need to do? Think yourself more like a business. Let's say you are running a business, and let's say you are into film production. So simply you are fulfilling the need of entertainment. Let's say you are into sports. Once again, you are fulfilling, let's say you are a pro player, and let's say you are playing for your home country. I'm just saying, right? So simply you are contributing to the entertainment, right? And let's say Azam sir is basically fulfilling the need of education, right? So likewise, what should businesses do in order to fulfill the wants? That's my question. That's my question. We got two terms. This and this is helping, or else this and this are helping us to fulfill the wants that human got. I need to sync everything with the concept. This is how the economics has arrived, or else this is the basics of economics. So I need to teach. So in order to teach that one, you should be able to answer this question. Okay, I got an answer from Kanza. Okay, perfect, man. Perfect. We need to do the production. We need to do the production. Simply the production of what? Goods and services. That's it. Simply the product, if not goods and services, right? If we take transportation, if we name out car, bike, buses, train, and everything, those examples would come under goods. And also take petrol and diesel, come under goods. Take education and take Azamsa's class, comes under services, right? So each and every firm in a particular country or else in an economy is basically trying to fulfill the human wants by producing goods and services. But the thing is, if we take a oil company, which means let's say a company which produces petrol and diesel, right? So that company is basically producing petrol and diesel to fulfill human wants. But the problem that they got is this: the resources that they got is super damn limited, right? When we are comparing with the requirement, people are requesting more and more diesel and petrol, but the availability of the crude oil is so damn limited. So simply in economics, we need to assume that each and every good and service is made up of limited resources. So let me name some goods and services. Take Azamsa's class, right? And let me take this marker and this whiteboard, right? You can take the phone, car, right? So you name it, each and every product, even the kottu roti that you are eating, right? I'm very sorry to say, like, biryani, each and every stuff, simply each and every goods and services is basically made up of limited resources for the time being. Just make sure to have this idea later on we will be discussing even further, even going deeper into the analysis of resources, right? So this is the basic concept of economics. This is the basic concept of economics, which means we are assuming all the goods and services out there in the world are literally made up of limited resources. So if resources are also unlimited, let's assume like that, okay? If resources are unlimited and also wants are unlimited, we might not been through in a subject called economics, which means economics would be not there if the resources are also unlimited when we are comparing with the wants. So happy, right? A world without economics, right? A world without economics, simply for you guys, world without an economic subject, right? So, and me too would be, for me it's kind of, a negative thing since I'm teaching economics, but simply the origination, if not the economy or else the subject economics, was basically founded or else basically came across, throughout the theories, throughout the period, because of this particular matter, right? So fine, hold on. Now take your exercise book. Take your exercise book. So I told you to get a 1 in the last class, right? So hope everyone got the exercise book with you. And also I would really appreciate if you can send me a picture, not now, if you can send me a picture of the setup that you got in the home, in your place. If you are especially an online kid, you might have a setup might better than my one. I mean, in terms of studying and everything. So I would appreciate if you can send me a picture of your setup. I'm quite sure boys would not have a good one. I mean, but girls would have a good, ambient. If not, the setup of them would be so nice to see. So I would appreciate if you can send me a picture of that one. Right. Simply the online class setup, or else how you are focusing on the online class. Right? Fine. Take your exercise book. Take your exercise book and write down a question. Write down a question. Hope everyone is ready with the book, exercise book. Write down what is mean by scarcity. Still, I didn't explain this concept. I explained this concept, but not this word. Scarcity. Simply, the term scarce mean not enough. Scarce. Scarce mean not enough. So, and also I said that the resources that we got to produce goods and services are limited when we are comparing with the wants that we need to fulfill. So simply, resources are getting limited because of the unlimited wants. What if we doesn't have a need called transportation? What if he doesn't have car, bike, those kind of stuff? What if he doesn't have the wants of fulfilling the transportation? Like, let's say everyone is kind of working. Let's say everyone is working. Let's say we are not in need of fulfilling transportation. In that case, the crude oil would be highly available because less number of people would choose, or else less number of quantities will be used for other purposes like electricity, etc. Just assume like that. If the need of transportation is not there, the resources would be unlimited. So resources are getting limited because of the unlimited wants. Did you get the idea? Everyone is kind of chasing. That's why crude oil is kind of becoming limited. See Trump. USA also got so much of reserves, right? I think 76 something they are numbering 76 kind of reserve thingy. And also Iran got 200 something reserve. So they are measuring, I think, in terms of billion barrels or something like that. And also Russia, Venezuela. So those kind of countries got their own crude oil reserve. America knows the resources or else the crude oil that they got is not gonna satisfy them, which means simply they are assuming this is not enough for them. So that's why simply Trump took over Venezuela and also chasing Iran. So simply this is what happening in the world. So USA is chasing on crude oil while Israel is chasing on the lands, right? So it's a different scenario. So that's why we are considering the resources to be limited because of the unlimited wants. So we are addressing this particular concept as scarcity. Simply resources are limited because of the unlimited bond. So we are saying it as scarcity, right? Not the paucity, it's scarcity. Resources are scarce, not enough. So what is mean by scarcity in economics? 2 marks. What is mean by scarcity in economics? 2 marks. So give it a try. And if possible, try to send me the answer. Try to send me the answer. So Hafsa has already sent me the answer. Okay, we'll see whether your one is correct or not. Perfect, Hafsa. Good to go, good to go. I'm expecting from others as well. So you got two options. You can send me the answer on the Zoom chat, and also you can send it to me on WhatsApp. I can check it through my laptop, but not this time. Still, I didn't connect my WhatsApp, so better if you can send me the answers on Zoom chat only for today's class. By next class, I'll give you both the options. And also, I'm planning to give you some quiz and those kind of stuff while we are in the class. And also, we got the option in the Zoom as well. Give me a second, guys. Right, let me go right away to the importance of learning economics. Number one, write down. Important in ruling a country. Important in ruling a country. Important in ruling a country. This is country, right? Unfortunately, I cannot erase these letters. Important in ruling a country. Second one, write down. Important in understanding. Important in understanding. Important in understanding the economic process well. Important in understanding the economic process. Important in understanding the economic process. So first one, important in ruling a country. Definitely, economics would help a ruler or else the president to rule their or else rule his country in a nice way. And also important in understanding the economic process, how an economy runs, or else simply how a country is running. Third one, write down important, important to vote for a party. So back in 2025, the tables got turned, right? Each and every time we had either green color or else the blue color. Mahinda Mama, if not Ranil, those kind of Sajid people, UMP and SLPP, if I'm not wrong. Table got turned. Who came in? AKD, right? Okay. Anurag Kumar Dissanayake came in. So he suggested some his policies, or else he suggested some decisions, if not the work plan, the workout, and people sort of believed in that one. And we'll see down the line in 5 years whether he was, or else whether he's going to fulfill those requirements or else those, promises or not. We'll see. So basically, you need to have the idea on economics, if not the economy, in order to vote for a party, how they are going to run the country, how they are going to make the decision. And then write down another one. So we don't have enough space, right? This is not erasing. Okay, I don't know the reason. Write down important, important, important in getting a job. Important in getting a job. Important in getting a job. And then the last one, important, important in decision making. In decision making. Important in decision making. So my notes are not clear. So let me dictate the notes. So first one, important in ruling a country. Second one, important in understanding the economic process. Third one, important to vote for a party. Fourth one, important in getting a job. The last one, important in decision making. Important in decision making. Right. Guys, give me 1 minute. Okay. Uh, 1 second. Sorry for the inconvenience. I had a problem with the hold, like it got messed up. Hope you can see the whiteboard, right? Right. So let me explain the concept of micro and macroeconomics. So let me show the exact part that I'm going to explain. Right. So this is the part that I'm going to explain. You can see two terms as micro and macro. These are the terms that I'm going to explain. Simply the two tangents, if not the two areas of economics. So let me mark this one. So it's going to be very, very important. This is very, very important. This is very, very important, right? So let me make it so simple. So you would get the fullest idea. Okay, right. So normally I'm taking a simple example. So I'm taking the restaurant. So can you name few restaurants or else the hotel that you can find in Sri Lanka to have a nice meal? Let's say you just need to have a good meal. Let's say you need to have a good kothurati. If not, you need to have a submarine. If not, let's say you need to try out a different dish. Let's say a Chinese dish with snake, frogs, and everything. I'm just kidding. So name few restaurants in Sri Lanka that you can find some foods or else those kind of junks. It could be a good hotel and also a moderate level one and also a worse one. So you can name it. So I'm expecting the answers from your end. Ah, okay. Pizza Hut. Ah, Pizza Hut. Okay. Right. What else? So come up with a mixture, right? So this time, don't say KFC or else Dynamo. Come up with some mixture. So you can name a better restaurants than this one, if not a worse one. So it's up to you. Okay, takmil. Wild dish. Ah, okay. Still, I didn't visit Wild Dish, but always seeing that particular restaurant in the short, right? In YouTube shorts. So that guy uploads, right? The Wild Cookbook. I love his contents. Milano. Okay. So I think Huda is from Akurana, Milano, right? Fine. Anyway. So what about this guy? Uh, Shangri-La. Big people. Okay. Once again, I haven't visited this, hotel. I'm just saying Shangri-La for posh people, right? And what about this guy? So normally I take this one, Peta Batkade. Peta Batkade, one of my favorite spot, right? A restaurant in Peta Batkade, Peta stand, right? Okay, Peta Batkade for you. So this time I'm gonna analyze these restaurants in some categories. Okay, so let me write the categories in which they are in which we are going to have the analysis, right? So one is basically the interior or else the ambient that you could find in this kind of restaurant. And then the main thing, taste and the pricing. And the pricing. So we can give some grades like A, B, C, D. So high the value, it would A, less the value, it would be D. So if that is worse, it's going to be D. If that is good, it's going to be A. So now you need to support me for Pizza Hut, and let me mark this one as category 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So how are you going to rate Pizza Hut based on the interior? A, B, C, D. You cannot say A. Why? You got the Shangri-La. So Shangri-La needs to have the A. So how can we grade, or else how can we rate the interior of Pizza Hut based on this particular uh, tool? Okay, perfect. B. Thanks, Kanza. Okay, yeah, we can take it as B. What about taste? So Nanda says it's C. So we can take B. Pizza Hut Pau, right? So what about the taste? I would say it's C. You cannot say it as B. No, you can find better foods than Pizza Hut for sure. What about the pricing? Pricing is B, I would say, right? Pricing is B. What about wild dish? Wild dish. I haven't visited yet, but we might can have an idea. What about wild dish? What about the interior? I would say B plus. It's close to Shangri-La. I mean, the ambience is way good, right? B plus. What about the taste? We don't know, so I'm gonna give B. The pricing also, I think B plus, right? I mean, higher price. What about Shangri-La? So I'm the one who is teaching and I'm the one who is answering. Make sure to answer me, right? If not done, I would come all the way to your place. You might be in Akurna, you might be in Kalambu, you might be in Kurunagala. Yeah, I can, come all the way to your place. I got the address as well. And also I can come to Kata too, right? I'm just kidding. Right, so take Shangri-La and take the interior. We can definitely say it has A. Taste, I'm not gonna say A. I would say B. B. So you cannot expect, I would say no, not B, not A. What about pricing? A plus. Isn't that the case? So this is Shangri-La for you. What about Milano? The interior, I would say C plus. The taste, I would say, yeah, it's B. Pricing is, I would say, C plus. Shape. Okay, right. Right. Can't say it's A. I'm just kidding, Hafsa. So don't take me wrong, right? So I can visit there as well. So this time, Peta Bat Kade. Peta Bat Kade, right? So if we take the interior, so we can clearly go to D. We can grade it as D. So when we are entering a Petabat Kade, you can definitely find some, rats, cockroaches kind of crossing here and there, and cats would welcome you, and also dogs sometimes. So yeah, you can have a nice welcome. So that's Petabat Kade for you. So interior is going to be D. Like, hope you can, I know you guys haven't been there, right? So you guys haven't been there, right? But I'm more like a regular customer. So when I'm basically visiting university, and also, when I'm, going, especially, back in year 1 and 2. But nowadays, uh, yeah, not, being very much, but yeah, sometimes going there. When I'm basically picking a bus, yeah, it's easier to go to Petabatkari. So I'm just taking this one as an example, right? What about the taste? I would say C plus. C plus. Sometimes with the old oil, and sometimes with podi stones and everything. Anyway, pricing, I would say D. You can find goods for very cheap. So this is the analysis of Pizza Hut, Shangri-La, Wild Dish, Milano, and Petabat Curry. So now, right, fine. Let's say your uncle who is in, let's say, Australia, or else who's in abroad, calls you. Let me take a random person from this. Let's say, who is getting the call? Who can come into this particular example as a volunteer? Sir, I'm willing to come. And also you can answer, but I'm not expecting an answer from your end. So you can type the answer. If not, yeah, so I'm willing to come into this particular example as a volunteer. Okay, so Hafsa is basically willing to come into this example. So let's say Hafsa's, let's say, Periyappa, if not, let's say Hafsa's uncle is calling. Hafsa, I'm planning to visit Sri Lanka by end of May. And also we are having our festival as well, right? So I'll be coming after the festival to visit Sri Lanka, not to visit you, right? He's saying, I'm coming to Sri Lanka only to have some good foods, which means he's basically living in Australia for, let's say, for more than 20 years, and let's say he uh, simply like less likely to visit Sri Lanka, and let's say he is coming to Sri Lanka after a very long period of time and calling Hafsa. So okay, I heard that Sri Lanka is kind of evolutionized, or else kind of, very well in performing, or else, making foods. So I'm going to visit Sri Lanka just to have good food, not to visit you. So okay, I'm just kidding once again. So this time, how are you going to answer that particular phone call? And also he says, I heard that like we can find some good food, and also the pricing also nice, and also the ambience, and also I heard that like some shops are kind of not as our expectation. So what about your answer? Which means your uncle asks from you. So what are you going to say? So anyone can say the answer to me. You can use the chat. Nada, you cannot what do you call, go directly and say Shangri-La. No, this time we need to have a general answer. What if your Periyappa or else uncle goes to Petabat Kare thinking that this is Shangri-La? Which means he is kind of trying to, you know, test, or else trying to explore like more number of foods, not only in Shangri-La. So how are you going to answer that question? He says like, I'm going to visit like most of the places, or else I'm going to visit the places which are famous for food in Sri Lanka. Let's say he might go to Katangudi, he might go to Jaffna, right? He might go to Gol, he might go to Kandy, he might go to Colombo. So what might be your answer? Wildlife will be good. This time you need to, give your uncle a good exposure, a good answer. You need to give an overall idea about the restaurants that we got in Sri Lanka. So how are you going to say? The general answer? While it has a good ambience and a decent pricing and good food. Okay. And Huda has mentioned me okay as Pizza Hut. Atika says I would definitely recommend trying local street food and traditional meals for an authentic experience. I'm asking. Okay, good answers. What if your uncle goes to Peta Batkare right away, from Katnag Airport? Okay, so this time, let's say I'm Hafsa answering his call, right? I'm saying, okay, uncle, this is what the case. Yes, you can definitely visit Sri Lanka, and also you can have the best food ever in your lifetime, since you haven't in Sri Lanka for a very long period of time. But make sure to visit the restaurants, or else make sure to have a good analysis, or else try to get the feedback before entering to the shop. So you might be able to find some good street food in Colombo, especially in Peta, but make sure the shops are very clean, or else make sure to be have a good idea on how they are preparing the food. So I would say better not to visit this shop. And also you can try some, or else you can have the Australian vibe in Sri Lankan version. So this time, let's say Pizza Hut, as I think I'm not eating, but I show a promotion in which they are promoting a particular food which is kind of relates to Sri Lanka, which kochi or something like that, which chili stuff. So you can have the Sri Lankan vibe of Pizza Hut. So you can say like that. And also, uncle, if you are to go to a restaurant which is kind of good in ambience, and let's say you need to try a VIP food, or else a next level 5-star level food, you can try Shangri-La, but it might be very expensive. But let's say if you are to find have some bakery items, if not, if you need to try samosas, those kind of stuff, yes, you can visit Milano. And recently we introduced the wild dish, and you can try the foods, real authentic Sri Lankan foods, and you would definitely give your uncle a general answer, right? An overall picture about the restaurant industry in Sri Lanka, right? Hold on. Now I'm going to insert these restaurants in the map of Sri Lanka. So now see the level of drawing of mine. See. So see how I'm going to draw Sri Lanka, the map of Sri Lanka. You guys have no any clue on my drawing, the level of drawing. See. So see here. Epadi, did you see this one? Right? So this is Sri Lanka. Ah, just kidding. So this is my level of drawing. It's way, 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 way low, right? So let me park Pizza Hut over here. And let's say Petabat Kade, right? And let's say Shangri-La in goal, just as him, right? And let's say Milano. And also we had wild dish. Let's say wild dish in Batiklo. Wild dish, right? So this time, when I was answering uncle's phone call, I basically gave the idea on the entire restaurant industry. Entire restaurant industry. Did you get the idea? But let's say after your uncle's phone call, after your uncle's phone call, you are only focusing on PETA. Let's say your uncle calls you and asking for Azam, I'm having a plan to visit Sri Lanka to have. Oh, wait, wait, wait. Uncle, don't ever try to come to Sri Lanka. See, don't ever try to come to Sri Lanka. Are you coming to Sri Lanka to have foods? No, no way. See the shop, like, see the Petabad Kade, and you are only focusing on Petabad Kade, and okay, he's kind of thinking and he refuses to come to Sri Lanka. He's kind of, okay, getting, or else he's kind of going backward on his plan. And also, the other thing, let's say, I'm gonna answer his phone call like this. After his particular, question, I'm answering, oh, yeah, you can definitely come. You got Shangri-La, you can have whatever you want. So the best place to have, and let's say your uncle visits Shangri-La and seeing the price. I might need to, give my kidney to have some foods. Why did you call me? Why did you call me to Sri Lanka? Right? So your uncle would get pissed off on you, right? So better if you can give a general idea. So my question is basically giving the general idea. Let me mark the general idea as answer A. The general idea, which means you need to talk about Pizza Hut, you need to talk about Milano, you need to talk about Wilish, every stuff and every, uh, in and out in restaurant industry. So let me take that answer as A. On the other hand, describing only about PETA, let me take that answer as B. That is B. So I'm asking which answer might be big and which answer might be a small one. So this is answer A, this is answer B. So general answer is A, the small, or else I would say this particular specific answer is B. Which one is big and which one is small? That's my question for you. Perfect, Hafsa. Okay, good. What about others? Perfect, Kanza. Okay, good. Hope everyone is kinda okay with this. Hope everyone is on the track. Right. Answer A is obviously the big one. Answer A is the big one, while answer B small. Answer B is small, right? So which one should be macro and which one should be micro? Macro mean big, micro mean small, isn't it? So macro and micro. So how can we transfer these two concepts into an economy, if not into a country? So when I'm saying the word economy, you just need to think a particular country. Just think of Sri Lanka. So economy means there is no in rocket science. Just a country is being meant, right? So it's more like a synonym for a country. That's economy, right? So macro answer or else big answer that you represents the entire restaurant is more like macro, and one specific answer, one specific shop comes under micro, small. So simply when we are analyzing the entire country, when we are analyzing the entire country, we are representing those, categories. If not, we are representing those outputs or else, analysis as macro. While when we are analyzing a particular portion, let's say you are just taking out a portion from Sri Lanka, and let's say you are just, taking smallest or else a branch from Sri Lanka, those things would come under micro, right? If I ask you a question, so who is our president? AKD. AKD is our president. So who is our like prime minister? Prime minister and also the minister of education minister. Who is she? A lady, right? Ah, tell the name of her. Prime minister. Ah, Harini. Harini. Uh, Harini. Okay, I don't know. I forgot the second name or is the last name. Harini, something like that. So simply I'll call her as Harini, right? Enemy. AKD is our president, right? Is AKD only for Colombo people? Or else is he only for Akurana people? Or else is he only for Kegol people? Or else is he only for Kurunagal and Nigambu, Jaffna, those kind of people? Nope. AKD is obviously for the entire country. Did you get the idea? So let's say President Anura Kumara Disanayake. Full stop. Macroeconomic analysis. I'm just saying, just to grab the thing, right? And let's say we got a mantri called Mahipal. Mahipala Herato, I don't know his exact word, but he is kind of the one who rules the Kegol. He's the big guy in Kegol. But hope you guys don't have any idea on him. Do you know Mahipala? Let's say you are in Kurnagala, you might not know him, Mahipala, but we know him very well as Kegol people. Like he's more like a big one, Mahipala Herat. So this particular guy is only for Kegol, which means Mahipala Herat is the big minister in Kegol. He comes under micro. Did you get the idea? So when I'm taking a piece of land or a piece of a thing from the entire country, it would go to the small consideration. While when I'm explaining the entire country, or else when I'm coming up with the general perspective of a country, it would definitely come under macroeconomy. Hope you got the idea, right? So today I'm not gonna going to the in detail of micro and macro. For now, the idea that we got is way enough. So let me switch to the tute. So get the tute, right? Okay. See the wordings. What is the definition that I have given to you? Let me mark this one. Okay. Part of economics, simply the micro, right? Part of economics deals with smallest elements of economy. Part of economics deals with smallest elements of economy. Take the entire panel of economics teachers in Sri Lanka. I think we might have 1,000, 2,000 economics teachers. I don't know. No, not 1,000. Let's say one and only. Nope. Right? I'm just kidding. Let's say we got 500 economic lecturers for A-level students. So the entire 500 represents the entire country. So it's macro. But if you guys analyze the behavior of mind, let's say you guys are analyzing, okay, how Azam sir dresses. Is he wearing branded clothing? See, this LCY. This is para local brand. Local mean like this Sri Lanka's brand. So you might be have an analysis. Okay, what watch he is basically wearing, right? And which vehicle he drives. So you guys are on an analysis. How much would be Azam's average income per month? So I'm just kidding. So if you are going to analyze only myself, so it's going to be which analysis? Micro analysis. But if you guys analyze the entire economics teachers panel in Sri Lanka, you guys are on a big mission. Okay, we need to sort out this matter. Like we are not in a satisfaction level in Sri Lanka, like they are not doing a great job, right? So if you are to analyze the entire panel, it would be which kind of analysis? Macroeconomic analysis. So mark down study of economy as a whole. Economy as a whole, which means the entire economy. Hope you got the idea, right? So shall we wind up the class? If not, shall I give you the example? So based on your requirement, I can have the decision. Which way is better? Writing the examples and winding up the class? If not, continuing the upcoming class, first class of May, by providing the examples and the explanation. Which way is better? You might be thinking, Ade Azamsa is only in page number 1 and 2. Nope. Which means you need to have the basic idea. It should be more like, you need to have, a concrete level of idea. I mean, like concrete thingy, foundation. So that's why I'm, planting, right? So I got an answer. I got a request. Okay, we'll see. Give the examples. Ready for both. Okay, give the examples. Okay, better if I can give the example. But before giving the examples for these two, I would like to go all the way up. By studying economics, you are never going to guide Anuru Kumar Disanayak, right? Will you be able to guide him? Or else you might be able to become a policymaker, but practically you are basically doing economics, for mostly to have a good Z score and also have a good pass score and to make your academics easier in, higher studies. That is the primary consideration, right? So in back of your mind, you need to have the ultimate goal or as objective, which in which I'm definitely going to have a pass for sure. So this is the roadmap of grade 12, and also it's going to be the roadmap of getting an A pass, right? So yeah, you are here. You are in unit 1. So beside this, make sure to write it as, if not here, you can write general idea. of economics. We cannot say either we are going to study micro or macro, which means you will get the general idea of economics in this one. So you cannot say that particular thing. So you cannot say we are studying either micro or macro, but general idea will be get in unit number 1. Take unit number 2 and write it as micro. This is a microeconomic chapter, which means you are not going to analyze the entire economy, entire country. You are just going to analyze a specific thing, small portion, right? You don't need to worry. Still, we didn't start off unit number 2. So in unit number 3, once again, even though the term says government intervention, still unit number 3 is micro. I'll tell you the reason later. For the time being, just make sure to write the terms that I'm giving. Micro. Once again, production firms, write it as micro, unit number 4. Now we are moving to the macro part, national accounts. National mean, considering the entire economy, if not the country. Macro. Sixth one, once again, macro. And all the subjects or else all the lessons that you got in grade number 13 is macro. Macro. So better if you can write the marks that you are going to have here. Like, this is rough. You can write it as draft marks, okay? You might be able to have 14 out of 100. Here, 17 out of 100. Here, I would say 13 or 14 out of 100. For the time being, just make sure to write the marks that you are going to have, or else that you can have by studying these three. Right? Okay. Okay, coming all the way down, hope you have marked this one. If not, better if you can have a screenshot. Just take a screenshot, and then coming all the way down to the examples of micro and macroeconomics. So write down example number 1, price of a pen. Price of a pen. So for now, just write the example. I'll explain the examples in the upcoming class. Okay, price of a pen. Here, write it as inflation. Inflation. So macro. Beside price of a pen, write it as unit number 2. Unit number 2. Unit number 2. Beside the term inflation, better to write it as unit number 7. See, grade 13, unit number 7, it's macro, right? Simply you are converting this price of a pen to inflation. Okay, I'll explain, you don't need to worry. And then consumer demand. Consumer demand. Once again, you will get the fullest idea in unit number 2. Unit number 2. So under macroeconomics, write it as aggregate demand. Aggregate demand. Aggregate means simply the total. The total. In economics, we are using the term aggregate for total. Aggregate, the summation, the sum. So beside aggregate demand, write the term, or else write unit number as 6. Unit 6. Once again, this one. Unit number 6, macro. Right? Okay. So third one, write down production of a firm. Production of a firm. Production of a firm. So you can go like unit number 4. Unit number 4. Production of a firm. A single firm. See this one? Consumer demand. A single person is being considered. Price of a pen. Just the price of a single product in the market. Production of a firm, not the entire production of the firms in Sri Lanka. Just the production of a single firm. We can take Munchie. Take Munchie lemon puff. So that's micro. That's micro, right? So say this one. Production firms, unit number 4. Micro. But beside the terms of or else this particular sentence of production of a firm, write down under macro as gross domestic production. Gross domestic production. Production of a firm, gross domestic production. So once again, gross mean total. Total. Simply you are addressing the term total as gross. Gross, aggregate, everything is kind of, for the time being, just have the idea, okay, these two words are reflecting the concept of total. Total domestic. Domestic mean within Sri Lanka. Production. Within bracket, you can go like GDP. 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 So unit number 5. Unit 5. Unit 5. Right. Here you can write it as under micro, write down export of tea. Export of tea. You are exporting tea. Did I consider the entire exports in Sri Lanka? Nope. I just took a single product. So it's micro. No doubt in it. Here, write it as balance of payment. Balance of payment. And mark it as unit number 10. Unit number 10. So you don't need to worry until unit number 10 to get started. So I'll give you the fullest idea of balance of payment in unit number 10. For the time being, you don't need to mark any unit number for export of tea. Keep that one because exports will be get discussed in unit number 9, international trade, but this is just a single product, right? Fine. So finally, write down scarcity. 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 So scarcity is also a microeconomic concept. I'll teach this one again in the upcoming class. And I have given you, okay, and then aggregate demand was, write it as national income. National income. National income. So it would be helpful for you in unit number 5 and 6, national income. So once again, macro. So trust me, for the time being, you just need to worry about unit number 1, and then we will nicely move to unit number 2, and then unit number 3, unit number 4, and then I'll be giving you the fullest idea of macro, right? So yeah, this is what for today's class. Hope you guys enjoyed the class. So if you got anything to say, right, anything to give me as feedback, feel free to tell me, because this is your class, so I need to do the class based on your requirement, right? So but don't tell like this, sir, better if we can have the class only for 1 hour. Nope, I'm not gonna do that one, right? I am asking something else, or else is this okay? The way that I'm explaining, is that okay? Or else, I'm basically using the whiteboard and then coming back to the here. Is that okay? If not, sir, better if you can do the class, the entire class on the whiteboard. Yeah, I can do. Or else, sir, this way of teaching is fine. Okay, explaining the tute while sharing this one is fine. Or else, sir, the way that you are doing currently is also fine. So please make sure to suggest me. So I need to alter my way of teaching and the provision. Thanks, Nanda. Thanks. Okay, I explained very well and deeply. Okay, I appreciate it. Very clear. Thanks, Nusrat, once again. Right. So please make sure to maintain this consistency. After the plans and the willingness of God, trust me, I can get you an A pass for sure. But if you can work with me based on my requirements, if you can fulfill my requirements, and if you can cope up with me, I would definitely guarantee you to get an A pass for sure, right? Everything that you are doing currently is fine. Okay, thanks. Understandable. Okay, thanks, Kanza. Okay, I'm doing really great. Okay, thanks. I appreciate, and I'm glad to hear the answers, and also appreciate that you guys were in this class for this whole period of time. And I appreciate. I'll try to upload the recording of today's class, and also I made a miss in between the class because the connection was dropped out. I hope everything is fine, and if I missed anything in the recording, let's say you need to cover up once again, let's say you need to go on a revision once again, let's say you have missed out a particular thing, and let's say because of this particular mess I have missed out that particular part, please make sure to text me. This is my number, like the business number, right? 8684945, I think. Yeah, 8684945, and it can wait for you. This is my trademark, if not the brand that I'm going to build up. So you can follow me on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, okay? And then you can follow me on Insta, TikTok, FB. And you can clear your doubts on WhatsApp, right? Feel free to text me, right? If I'm free and available, I might be also able to answer your phone call too, right? Fine, this is my number, and also this number is in the group, so please make sure not to message my personal number. My personal number is also there. I might not respond using my personal number, but you can always seek me because I'm the one kind of replying for the doubts and everything mostly, so you don't need to worry. So feel free to speak with me, right? So hope you guys are enjoying the class. And okay, thanks Takmil. Okay, thanks. So I'll give you the further updates in the group, and also I'm planning to give you the free question bank tut as I promised in the video as well, right? Still I'm kind of working on the content, so very soon you will get the question bank hand out as well. So have some good time, and bye bye, see you. Assalamu alaikum, wanakkam, and aibowan.